Hey guys, having a few technical issues here, so just bear with me. Hope you're all well. I can't believe this is that's us live now, I think. Yeah, I can't believe this is the 28th mastermind that we've run in a row. There hasn't been any breaks, so yeah, awesome. So, yeah, I've got 6 people watching. You are all very, very welcome. 8 people now, so if you could drop a like or a comment just to let me know that I'm coming through nice and clear and you can hear me and things. Hey Sashi, beg your pardon, hope you are well. Just going to share this link with a few people who wanted a reminder. Who wanted a reminder when we go live. So forgive me. Normally I have a glamorous assistant, generally in the form of Eamon McCaffrey, to take over while I'm doing this, but I don't this evening. No one as glamorous as that, no one at all. Kelvo wanted a reminder too. Knees, just pop all these in here. So yeah, how is everyone getting on? How is everyone's Q4 shaping up? Hope you're all well. And yeah, just this week, there's a few updates. So we've organized a networking event in December, which I'll talk a little bit about in a moment. Talk about that. And we've had, quite a few questions in regards to, kind of different aspects of selling on Amazon. It's mainly about selling on Amazon. There was one really kind of interesting question that, I was listening to a podcast about, and it's something that I've thought about, really. So I think that's everyone who wanted a reminder. Hey, not sure who that is, but yeah, you're very, very welcome. Cool. So hopefully I am loud and clear. Hey, Trudy. How's things? Hi. Hi, all. There we go. Cool. So, yeah, guys, like I've got, let's see here, I've got 9 sort of things to cover, 9 sort of main questions, but I'll give people who are here, I'll let you guys jump the queue. So if you guys have any questions that you want me to cover, anything at all, then drop them down below and I'll cover them. Or if anyone wants me to talk about something, or hi Eamon, miss you buddy, miss you. Thanks for calling me back. You're right, by the way. I'll actually talk about what we were talking about earlier. So hope everyone is well. I basically asked for anyone who's kind of struggling with anything or just unsure of anything, just to email. I sent out an email, and also just drop a comment on the post. I actually had quite a few DMs about this, which is great. Kind of interesting that people aren't comfortable sharing, but it's fine. There are some things that you may be a little bit too nervous about sharing, but none of us here at iGen bite much. So, it's coming up to Halloween, I suppose. So, who knows? Yeah, none of us bite. So, if you want to jump on a call or, just drop us a DM and we'll certainly get back to you whenever we can. It's really interesting. I did a post earlier. I interviewed Steve Broad Steve Broadhead earlier, and just a little bit about his story. I think it's a sort of 20-30 minute video, so we're going to get Blaze, our graphic designer, to edit it and make it all nice for the YouTubes, and we'll get that shared soon. But yeah, it was really interesting speaking to him, and yeah, like I remember the first few months me starting off, I did nowhere near what Stephen's been able to do. So it's really just with a little bit of, well, with some guidance and like structure, it really does help so much. So looking forward to that being edited and being able to share that with everyone. So Steve is absolutely going to kill it. He's really pushing really hard in Q4. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. So other thing to update all of you guys, we have organized a networking event in December. Now we've got a venue, we've got a room, we've got it booked. It's on the 17th of December in Manchester. What we're actually doing though, we're just allowing clients. There are like, I think it's 50 at the moment. 50 is the limit. So we're letting clients just confirm that they're going to go and book on first, and then we'll release it to like the public group and invite everyone else. But we just want to give fair warning and fair chance to Blueprint and iGen clients. So yeah, we've organized a few of these previously. They've been really good. Last one was in Birmingham. Really good night. And yeah, like for me, like we have an exercise that, well, there's an exercise, not to talk too much about, it's called the Golden Circle. And yeah, really kind of powerful exercise. And certainly organizing events and going to events like that and just meeting people, other Amazon sellers, it just, for me, it gives me just so much energy. And yeah, just really looking forward to get that organized. So, and meeting more people, and yeah, just celebrating the year. And it's the 17th of December. It's the last Friday before Christmas. So it gives enough time before Christmas and enough time to get like all your stock in and things for FBA. So yeah, really looking forward to that. So it's going to be in Manchester, and probably drop that in a few days' time in the public group. And yeah, a couple of more people logging in. So yeah, I've already dropped a post in the Mastermind and Q4 groups. So if you're part of that, let me know, and yeah, I'll fire across a booking link and you can get yourself booked on. Cool. So we have a few people watching. Let's just see. I think that's a record for me. I'm part of a cold water swimming group, and I put a smart comment on one of the photos. I've had 16 likes, 16 like laughing emoticons in about 5 minutes. I just did it before I went live. It's a record. I'm on fire. So yes, let's have a look. Yeah, there's a question from Ash Garbett. Yeah, we'll cover that towards the end as well. I just can't quite see this live, just to see who's on here. Just go to my phone. So bear with me a second. Get this live up. So yeah, I'll cover the kind of the first couple of questions. Now we'll bring them up here. So a question come in. So it's basically appealing to people who maybe just new sellers or looking to get started. So the first question that came through was, My biggest fear is that I build up a successful business, but that I am always at the whim of Amazon, who may suspend my account supposedly for unforeseen IP infringements. In case I cannot be unsuspended, what happens to all my unsold stock? And can I open another Amazon account, start over? So we're going straight into the deep end here. I thought that was like quite a cutting question, and it kind of relates to another question this chap's asked as well, which is I'll certainly cover. So first part of that is, yeah, that I build up successful business, but I'm always at the whim of Amazon, who may suspend my account supposedly for unforeseen IP infringements. So the first kind of thought that I had, if I think back to April or May of last year, I was suspended for 3 weeks, right at the kind of apex of lockdown. Just bought a load of stock, and yeah, I got suspended for price gouging. Now, the issue was I was selling, it was a 6-pack of Lynx shower gel, Africa Lynx shower gel. I think it was for 14 quid. Now the issue was this was an item that I picked up at wholesaler for, I think with the VAT, I think it was like 7.20 after fees and all that type of stuff. I think I was making like maybe £2.50 on each sale. The reason I got dinged for price gouging was Amazon were previously on that listing and selling it at 11. So because that price increase went from, as soon as Amazon came off, went up to me at like 14, because that price increase was over a certain threshold, I got pinged for price gouging. So I got an email, all this sort of stuff. In the time it took me to kind of see the email, gather everything up, put together a plan of action. No, I didn't even, how did it work? Basically, by the time I was aware of the email, aware of the issue, and started to make progress with it, I'm suspended. So, long story short, spent 2.5 weeks basically emailing, calling every day, all that type of stuff. Basically doing plan of actions, following up, giving them basically everything they needed, and getting nowhere fast. So I thought, right, this isn't working, and started to look online for other issues, other solutions. Came across a company called Thompson and Holt, Holt, Thompson and Holt, Thompson with a P, I think. Thompson and Holt, and remembered that a couple of people that I'm very friendly with, who have been through a similar position, have used them, and recommend them very, very strongly. Now, we're not affiliated with them. I'd love to get them on and interviewing things, but the way that they work is that if you look at their website, feel free to Google it now. Their website is very, very basic. Everything's done on like a chat box. And the way it works is if there's an issue, you'll email them the details of the issue. They'll say they potentially can help you with this, which basically means that they can, or sorry. I'm not aware of anyone that they've turned away, and it's basically £500 payment. It actually might be more now. It's £500 for I think it was a 48-hour solution. So emailed everything across to them, heard back from them, I think it was 12 hours later, to say, yeah, we've contacted Amazon, send us something else. After I sent them something else, I just started to notice some changes on the account, and just Amazon were replying to an email that had I hadn't sent all that sort of stuff, and I was basically unsuspended within it was less than 48 hours. So yeah, it was obviously that was in the middle of COVID. Lots of people getting suspended for price gouging. It was best 500 quid I've ever spent. Got my account back, got sales just went straight up. And yeah, to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that question, I would say that any business, well, so there's another great question that this chap asked. So I'll cover it in a little bit more detail, but there's always risks whenever you run a business. And yeah, if we're Amazon businesses, that is kind of a bit of a single point of failure. I would say that I'll maybe speak out of turn, but pretty much everyone that I know has been permanently suspended have, they've done something pretty badly wrong. Not always intentionally, but they might have done something really kind of careless, which obviously Amazon don't abide. So there's a lot to know about Amazon. It's it's a massive opportunity. But what I always say, it's a huge opportunity, but it is the most competitive and the most complicated marketplace out there because it is such a big opportunity. So definitely taking guidance, definitely looking at support is cuts out a lot of those mistakes because at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know. So if you do something just for not knowing any better, then it might not be your fault, but ultimately it's your responsibility as business owner. So yeah, it's a great question. There's another part of that builds into another question that this guy's asked. So I'm going to answer that towards the end because it's really quite interesting. Let's have a look. What else? I mean, just while I've got people on here, what are everyone else's thoughts regarding suspensions and IP claims and things like that? Have you seen an increase recently? We've had an increase recently. I've actually had a phone call with Amazon today about it. So be interested to see if anyone else has had that experience. If you want to drop a comment, let us know, get that discussed. Slept for a few people to join in there. Next question is around deal sheets or just sourcing known retailers. So big issue for this chap is, well, the question he's asked is competitors will more than likely be seeing the same deals when they use the deal sheets or come through the known retailers. What sort of edge can I get to be one step of my competitors? Great question. It is very competitive out there, and you obviously want to be one step ahead if you can. First thing to tackle in there is deal sheets. I've used deal sheets. I used them at the start. I still use them. The deal sheet that I'm on, I've been on Filer's deal sheet since it started. I think it started nearly 2 years ago. Its numbers are capped, so there's only a certain amount of people allowed on. People sometimes leave for whatever reason, and then we'll open it up to someone else. I've been on there from the start. There's 2 deal sheets, and yeah, I'm on both of them. It's well worth it. Having said that, there are other types of deal sheets. So what I would say is that sharing deal sheets, it's a great concept, but they're not all created equally. So what I mean by that is that, like, I was in a deal sheet previously, like I've been on Amazon for a while, but I remember maybe about 3 or 4 years ago being on a deal sheet, just some random guy on Facebook signed up to it. It's like £30 a month or whatever it was. And literally by the time the deals came through, the spreadsheet or whatever, it was a spreadsheet was sent every day. Every time I logged on, all the like the information was incorrect. The deal sheet might have said 3 sellers, and by the time you get on there, there's 12 and all this type of stuff. So yeah, that didn't last very long. I would say it's like any opportunity, they're not created equally. So with deal sheets, people do talk about they're good if you're brand new, just to give you an idea of websites that you might never have heard of to source from. I mean, we source from a lot of beauty websites, and outside of Amazon, I've never had cause to go, on a beauty website, anything like that. So there are other benefits to deal sheets, just to kind of open up, pull back the curtain a little bit and open things up. But in terms of an edge that you can get, one other option rather than an actual deal sheet is a deal pool. So this is where, if you're friendly with someone else, 2 or 3 other sellers, it would be where if you're sourcing deals, you will share those deals with these 2 or 3 other people. So it means that the time that you spend to find 10 deals and you put those 10 deals on the shared deal sheet, as long as the other 2 people are chipping in with the same contribution, then it means you're actually finding 3 times the amount of deals for the time that you're spending sourcing. So that's why, like, networking and meeting people is so important. And I've learned so much from just people that I've met, and genuinely you can learn so much from people, and kind of their outlook, and take a lot of energy and take a lot of kind of momentum from other people and how they do things. So Facebook's great for networking, even just kind of other groups outside of Amazon groups, just for networking, like business groups and things like that. I'm based in Northern Ireland. I've never come across like another reseller in the field or whatever when I was doing retail arbitrage, but I know other people have done, and they've struck up relationships with that. Obviously, we've had COVID and we've still got COVID, so that's kind of put a bit of a cap on that. But that's why I'm really keen to, that's why I'm really excited about organizing something in December, when Q4 is kind of not done, but kind of, yeah. So I would say deal sheets rather than deal sheets. Try and pool your resources with other people. It's a great way to learn things. I mean, deal sheets, I know, like, Thomas Parkinson runs Fast Track FBA. I've used it before. It's great. And you can basically see how many people have bought that same deal. So in that way, you can kind of negate against deals getting tanked and that time away, because it's very transparent. So definitely recommend that. I'm actually just going to drop a couple of links. So if this is helping anyone, great. If you can't post comments to destinations. Why is that? Don't know. Let's just see. So I need to go onto Facebook and post a comment. Got a comment there in regards to declarations of conformity requests. Okay, just see who this is. sorry guys, like this software is good for streaming, but it can be a little bit tricky. Oh, so this is from CKD. Hi. I'm getting EC declarations of conformity requests for toys which are difficult to provide to Amazon. How can we source for toys without falling into this trap? So yeah, it's a great question. I'm going to answer it, I promise. Here, so guys, if any of this is kind of resonating and you kind of want support on this, obviously the blueprint kind of outlines all of these different things, IP infringements, counterfeit, that type of stuff. But for this, just to talk about it, it's kind of two ways to look at it. First way is to be on the very, very safe side. When you create a listing, well, let's put it this way. There's two ways to do this. So if you find, I don't know what's good at the moment, WrestleMania, if you find a WrestleMania toy in Smith's, something like that, and you create a listing for it, you'll generally get a declaration of conformity request straight away. So that's one way to negate against that. So you create the listing, wait a while. If you don't get the declaration of conformity, then you can kind of palm it off. If you do get it, you can then make a decision, okay, is this worth me buying? Because the thing is with toys obviously sell massively around Christmas, but they do sell all year round. So with the declaration of conformity, you will be given a certain amount of time to provide those documents. So if you're given 2 or 3 months, send it in, sell it within 2 or 3 months, and you close the listing and then just move on. The other way to do it is to actually get those documents. So you can do this from certain suppliers, you can't do this from wholesalers, which is an R in its own. So obviously that's support that we do provide. Eamon is putting together his wholesale course, wholesale program. It's dynamite. Helped him out a little bit with it, but yeah, if this is the sort of thing that you're coming up against, using wholesalers, using suppliers who have those documents, gives you a massive competitive edge. So there's that. Anything else? I'm getting EC declaration. Yeah, hopefully that answers it for you. So you can basically test if you're going to get one, then make a decision whether you're going to buy it anyway, based on the time that you've got, or move on. So there's two ways to kind of do it. You can start to spend a bit of time building relationships with suppliers and that type of thing. That's another thing. So let's move on. Sheik, if that helps at all, then great. Let me know if that's helped. So any other questions? Yeah, guys, if you want to get a call booked in to discuss any support that's available, click the link and get a call booked in with Liam. He'll talk you through all the different options and how it works, and how it's working for people like Stephen and Russell and everyone else in the blueprint. So just get back onto my list of questions. It's kind of the same around deal sheets, kind of like a follow-on from it. So should I rely on using paid for deal sheets, or would I be better off getting my own experienced VAs to do this sourcing for me firsthand? So it's a great question, because it depends on, for me, I would say definitely invest in the business and start hiring out your team as early as possible. It's the biggest regret that I have, if you can call it regret. If I had my time over again, I would start doing that from as early as possible. Luke, big part of his success is how he's, excuse me, just need a drink. Yeah, big part of Luke's success is, and how he started his own deal sheet was he wanted to hire some VAs. I think he hired 12 or whatever it was, realized he couldn't afford to pay 12 people's salaries at that stage. So hired 3 of them or whatever it was, hired 4, and then kept the other 8 on as a deal service. And then that's how he's done that. So yeah, I would 100% recommend hiring your team, building your team and hiring a VA as soon as possible. Reason being, and it's a great point with kind of deal sheets. So if you're spending maybe £100 a month on deal sheets, that will be cheaper, less money than a VA, but not if you share that VA maybe with someone else or whatever way you want to do it. However, if you're investing in something that is basically a finite resource, then once you've paid that £100, you'll have the deals, the profit from the deals, and if those deals are replenishables, you've got that investment. But what you don't have that you would have building your team out is you're not really creating a business. You're just creating another job for yourself to look at the deal sheets all the time, check your replenishables, so on and so forth. Early, you can start building out your team. It's just such a big part of this. It really is. I have 7 people in my team, and yeah, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am at the moment without any of them. They're absolutely massive parts of the business, and yeah, just essential to actually scale something. So that just to go back to the question, should I rely on paid for deal sheets, or would I be better off getting my own experienced VAs to do the sourcing for me firsthand? To dig into the question a little bit, he has asked about experienced VAs. I would strongly recommend Thomas Parkinson's view on this, that you want VAs who aren't experienced and to begin and to basically, if you take experienced VAs on from the start, you've got to ask yourself a question, and the question is, if they're experienced and they're really good at finding deals on Amazon, why aren't they working for someone else? So if they're experienced, what is this experience? Do they say they're experienced, but they've maybe watched a few YouTube videos? That's the first thing I would say, that you want to hire the right person, because all the skills that you need for an Amazon business, whether it's sourcing, admin, or whatever it is, all those skills can be taught, but generally people can't be changed. So you want to make sure that you've got someone that's willing to learn, someone that fits in with your core values as a person and within the business, and someone that wants to be part of what you're trying to achieve. So for me, definitely hiring the right person is massive. But experienced VAs, there's very, very few good experiences with experienced VAs, because generally they've left their previous employer or the previous person or whatever it is for a reason. So yeah, that's what I would say on that. Okay, so see if there's any other. I think there was a comment. Excuse me. Excuse me. So another question. Yeah, it's just a follow up. I can't see these names, guys, by the way. So is it safe to say the thoughts before the deadline to submit the command docs? Yeah, it is. Well, I remember this coming in at the start of this year, but just kind of after Brexit, and everyone was given. I remember Valentine's Day. It was around Valentine's Day. You're basically given 6 weeks. So a lot of people did just sell through. There's no question come through. I'll answer that in a moment. So a lot of people just sold through and it was fine. We sold through some stuff and it was fine. So I immediately removed my stock and closed the listings to avoid any issues with Amazon. That's the safe thing to do. I mean, if you can have your items returned, potentially return them to the supplier and make your excuses, then yeah, I would be much more kind of not risky, but I would just let them sell through. Because the time and the kind of logistics involved in that is. But yeah, it's up to you. So here's a question that we could probably spend, next 20 minutes. So would you recommend an admin VA alongside a sourcing VA? Well, I know some people, Thomas Parkinson and a few other people, that would basically recommend an admin VA before sourcing VA, because there is a lot of admin involved in this. What can be with Amazon. And I think that was the first VA that Thomas hired. I'm not sure. It depends on your ambition and your appetite. I would say, if it's a great book called E-Myth: Why Small Businesses Fail and What to Do About It. And there's a lot of cliches and philosophies, and strategic coach Dan Sullivan talks about this a lot. So basically, with structures and systems and teams and things, big businesses, established businesses, become big and established because they start with established and big mindsets. And that's probably what really held me back. I tried to do everything myself. So if you see any big companies, the example I use in that book is Dell, I think. And Dell from day one had everything professionally laid out, systems, processes in place. So the benefit of having that is that when you scale, you're not scaling problems, you're scaling what works. So it's a lot easier to scale. And it is a real, I don't enjoy documenting processes. It's not fun, but a great podcast I listened to the other day. They had a marketing company on who was a sole trader, and she sold for, I think it was something like 2 or 3 million, which isn't that much for, well, I say it isn't that much. It isn't that much in terms of an acquisition for the context of who was talking and things, but she was a sole trader. So basically said, how on earth did you sell a company if it's just you? How did you walk away from, it's a creative company, it's, like advertising, copy, it's all this type of stuff, and artwork as well. It was artwork as well. So she basically said, let me ask you a question. Would you rather be in hell for 3 months or for 3 years? And what she meant by that was she basically decided she wanted to sell and spent 3 months documenting all her systems, all her processes, and had standard operating procedures for everything. So she could actually sell that concept, that business's package, and she had the, the contacts, all that type of stuff. So the 3-year thing is like, it's called an earnout. About if you don't meet certain criteria or targets and things, it's an earnout, but that's another conversation. So would I recommend an admin VA alongside a sourcing VA? It depends. It depends what you want this to do. Obviously, let me put it this way. So with hiring people, it's amazing. I love it. But I do feel a big responsibility because I'm impacting them and I'm impacting the people around them. So if you don't have the budget and you don't have the appetite to spend time with your team, coach them, have regular meetings and things, and if that's not the type of person that you are, then I wouldn't recommend it, because ultimately you'll it just won't work out. And yeah um that's what I would say on that. So it depends on what your appetite is. For me, and for people watching this and people in the group, most people do want more, and they do want to grow, and they do want to scale, and you're not meant to do things on your own. um it's it's and the impact that you can have on people generally. I mean, all of my team bar one, all of my team bar two are based in the Philippines. And what I always say, and I said it to Liam earlier, talent is equally dispersed across the planet, but opportunity isn't. So by bringing people from Philippines or wherever they may be and having that impact with them, I think it gives me a lot of energy, and it's a big thing for me. So it's really important for me that. But it's not for everyone. Some people simply just want to make some. I mean, the thing is with selling on Amazon, if you just want to make an extra £200 or £300 a month, you can do it in your spare time. You don't need a team, and you can just do it that way. So it does depend on your appetite, but if you want to build a team and you want to scale, and you want to get out of the business and work on it rather than in it, then you're going to need a team. So depends on what level that you're at, and what. Hopefully that has answered that. How many VAs? That's a good question. Okay, so again, I can't see who this is, and I'm just having trouble bringing up the stream, so forgive me. Oh, so this is from Chic as well. Apologies, Mrs. KD or Miss KD, if that's not the correct pronunciation. So how many VAs do you need to run a 6-figure Amazon business? Approximately how many deals should they be sourcing per day? Well, I got the 6 figures on my own, so you don't need an admin VA or a sourcing VA to get the 6 figures on your own. They help, and you'll get there a lot more quickly, but you don't need them. Let me just ask, how many VAs do you need to run a 6-figure Amazon business? Well, in definition of 6 figures is 100K. So you can do that on your own, and there are lots of people, including me, to do it on your own. So if you don't feel you're a people person or have those skills, don't let that put you off. You can do that on your own. You can do that on your own, absolutely. Russell's a good example. He's got one VA and he's up to 25K a month. I think Russell's a good example. If you look through the group, look for Russell Thomas. I think he pretty much got to 100K without any help. Well, without any team. Approximately how many deals should they be sourcing per day? Really, I don't target my team for deals or anything like that, because my team or source VA could, if you target someone on deals, they'll go out and find deals. Now, what I mean by that is they'll go out and find deals that might be 50p profit, and they only sell 2 or 3 times a month. So yeah, you're going to need a lot of that and a lot of kind of logistics to support that type of. So I target my team on basically purchasing and profit. So that's the way I do it. And as well as that, I hope they feel that they've got a pretty flexible working environment. I don't track their time. I just want, as long as things get done, then I don't really target them on the time they spend to do it. Last year, my first VA, she found me a deal that was 5.5 grand's worth of profit, because I was looking at it earlier. I was chatting to Stephen. 5.5 grand's worth of profit for one deal. So if you say to, remember, your team, VA, I don't like the term VA. I just don't like it. But if you say to someone that works for you, I need you to find 10 deals per day, they'll go out and do their best to do that, and they might miss that one. So yeah, I prefer to do it on outputs rather than inputs, if that makes sense. But yeah, like I said, that type of thing, we cover all of that in our support. So yeah, it's great to talk about this in public forum. The real benefit is in the mastermind, where you're speaking to people who are managing teams like this. So thanks, Lloyd. Yeah, no worries. Okay, evening, guys. Wow, I really can natter on. So we've got 3 more questions that's been sent. So this is an interesting one. Is there a limit to how big I can scale the business? By which I mean I could get overwhelmed by all the admin and or limited amount of available deals, or can most of the admin be outsourced to VAs? So answer that last bit just quickly. Yeah, all of your admin can more or less be outsourced to VAs, bookkeeping, reconciliation, invoice chasing, all that type of stuff. And is there a limit to how big I can scale the business? By which I mean I could get overwhelmed by all the admin and or limited amount of available deals. So I think it's a great question, because how would I put this? What I always tend to find is that, and I'd really recommend that book if you haven't heard of it. It's called E-Myth: Why Small Businesses Fail and What to Do About it. So what he talks about in that is, when you run a business, I definitely found this as the teams got bigger. Businesses aren't static. They're very kind of, it's like they're alive and they're organic, and things happen and things move. And what I think it's Gerber, Gerber. I'm sure someone can Google it. Google it. So I think it's a guy called Gerber. Why small businesses? So what he talks about is basically, your business is never static. It never just goes along. Your business either contracts or it expands. So what I've found as well, another concept he talks about this, annoy me. Who wrote that? Where's all this? Yes, I was right. Michael E. Gerber. So yeah, what he talks about is those different things. But what I know Kev Blackman's talked about this quite a bit, is bottlenecks. So at any given time, you'll have a bottleneck in your business. Generally, when you're starting off, it's like, well, there's 2 or 3 things actually, like knowledge, skills, and then deals. So what you'll find is that, see it in all the groups, that new sellers, they just don't know where to start and don't have any deals and they don't know how to find them and they really struggle to find deals. You'll then see other people asking around money because they've found all these deals, but then they've run out of money to buy them. Then the next bottleneck is generally space, because you found deals, got money, you need to prep them. And most people start by prepping at home. I would say Steve Broadhead, once I get that interview out, it's great. He started day one from a prep center. And yeah, he's just factored that into his costs. So as your business expands and contracts, you'll experience different bottlenecks. So those bottlenecks can be, it's generally time, space. So time, space, and money. So if it's time, use staff. If it's money, there's different options for that. And if it's space, then prep centers, warehouses, things like that. So let's see here. Just answer the rest of that question. Is there a limit to how big I can scale the business? No. And not to get, the only real limits to the business are the limits that you put on yourself. There's a great quote, and I do love my quotes, as you can tell. I'm going to misquote it, but it's about abundance, and it's about creating abundance. And the quote goes something along the lines of, you don't actually create abundance, you simply create limitations around what's available, or something like that. I've really butchered that, but yeah, in terms of abundance, no one creates abundance, you only create limitations to prevent you getting whatever. There's so much opportunity out there. It's crazy. It's insane. So yeah, I think that's pretty much answered that. It's a question about VAT, and don't want to get into VAT because that just very dull, very boring. And it's quite a simple one actually. So yeah, and just check if there's any other questions, guys. If there's any other questions or anything else, drop a link. Sorry, drop a question. I'm going to drop a link as well for our VA training services. It's hard doing this 2 things at once. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. Anyone is interested in either an admin VA or sourcing VA, we've launched our own sourcing VA as well as admin VA service. So if you want to get involved, jump on a call with Liam and he'll talk you through that. Hi, again, apologies. Hi, Ja. No, so earlier on this year, we ran a challenge, a 3-day challenge, and yeah, I believe you were an active member in there. It's great to have you in there. The email I sent earlier is around a case study program that we're going to be pushing out over the next few weeks. So we are looking to people to basically join our blueprint program and share their success. So if that is something that you're interested in doing, starting, scaling your business on Amazon and just sharing your success with other people, yeah, jump on and get a call booked with Liam, talk through the details of that and what that looks like. So hopefully that's answered all your questions. There was a question from Ash Garbut. In terms of Actorio, it's going well. It's certainly better. We're finding more deals than tactical arbitrage. with Victoria at the moment, the way it works is if you want, like with tactical arbitrage, if you wanted to source from Denelm, you would plug Denelm in, it would spend the next 12 hours scanning through it or whatever it is, and then it sends you a text message and an email to say it's done. Now, once that scan's done at tactical arbitrage, if you want to look again at Denelm in a week's time, you need to do that scan again. Excuse me. Now, with Octorio, the way it works is it'll actually index Denelm. So it basically takes its website, indexes everything on there, and keeps it updated. So if you want to check Denelm, it doesn't take 12 hours, it takes like 12 seconds. You just put your filters in, and it'll give you a list of your criteria found. You basically plug in your criteria, so 5 quid profit or whatever it is, and it'll give you a list of those items in Denelm. So it's lightning fast, and that's the big difference. It's lightning fast, and it's done kind of instantaneously. So yeah, it's great. Drop a link for that as well. I'll send you. Well, yeah, if you want to ask Eamon about it tonight, I'm not sure whether he said you were available for the coaching tonight, but yeah, cool. Yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much all the questions answered. Yeah, so really enjoyed that. Maybe do it once a month or something like that. If you have any questions that I haven't answered or you're watching the replay, drop me a DM. I'll do my best to answer it. If you're interested in support, yeah, get involved. Drop Liam a message and we'll get a call booked. Anything like that. Yeah. I mean, I'm always asked, like, especially like friends and family and stuff, like, oh, must be saturated at the moment with COVID and things like that. But genuinely not. Like, we're finding new suppliers, we're finding new deals every day, and yeah, grow the business every month. So really, if you want to get involved, don't sit on this. It does take time to build certain things up, but the interview with Stephen this morning was great. Literally started in July, got selling within a month. So August and September, and the first few weeks of October, he's done £5,700 in sales. I think it was £1,100 profit, something like that. So loving it, really pushing hard now over Q4, and yeah, not looking back. So if you're on the fence, get splinters, jump in a call, and yeah, we'll talk you through what support's available. There's lots of different levels, so yeah, get something fit for you. Guys, really enjoyed that. That hour absolutely flew in, so hopefully that's been useful, and yeah, have a good one. Enjoy Q4. Yes, next week, Luke and Ben Slater will be on talking about NFTs. If you guys have heard of that, then yeah, I'm sure you'd be interested in that. And if you haven't, really, really interesting. Definitely get involved in that, and yeah, don't miss out on that. Cool. Have a good night, guys. Stay cool.